I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delighted to welcome a very talented guest to our show, and he's written a great book. It's called I'm Important Too. In this compassionate and insightful book, the author addresses the universal feelings of loneliness and insignificance that many people experience. Through a simple yet profound narrative, he offers a message of hope and self-worth, emphasizing the importance of connection and recognition in making one feel valued and important. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below the interview. David, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'm Important Too is an important book. What's the inspiration? Is it tied to your work somehow?
It is. I work for the public school district here in Wichita. This is my 21st year. And I've done everything from teaching to administration, and now I'm a behavior specialist in the district. And so, with all these years, I've met, a lot of children, right, with behavior issues or traumatic experiences. And when talking with them, uh, one of the common threads was they didn't feel valued or
Hmm.
they didn't feel like they mattered, right? So if I don't matter, then I'll just do whatever I want to do, without regard to how people feel about it. So the inspiration came from that, and also I'm the youngest of seven boys
Hmm.
in my family, so being the baby,
Wow.
of the family, yeah, wow, being the
Must have gotten
baby,
beat up a lot.
well, I did, and I got a lot of attention,
Yeah.
being the baby, but growing up into the adult world, seeing people who didn't get a lot of positive attention, and so that's where the book comes from.
Now, what are the steps to help a child realize that he or she is important? How do you underscore that?
Wow, that's a great question. Um, I think first of all, talking, as I said, with them and not talking at them,
Hmm.
right? Uh, however old they are. I deal with kids from age 5 all the way up to age 12, right? In the school system. Plus
Right.
my community kids also do foster care. So I'm always surrounded by a wide range of kids. But I think first of all, just again, talking with them and letting them know that they're human, and acknowledging their feelings, acknowledging that they do matter, and then making them feel that way. We can often talk the talk, but if we don't walk the walk, kids recognize authenticity, and they recognize genuine feelings coming from adults. So I think the first part is just recognizing that they're human, talking with them and letting them be who they are
Mm.
before we start correcting them, letting them be who they are. And then as you build a relationship with them, then they're more open to any correction or advice that you might have for them.
Yeah. And before that disenfranchisement is too strong within them, before they seek comfort in perhaps alcohol and drugs at a later age, addressing these needs now is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm a behavior specialist at my school right now, and teachers may have anywhere from 20 to 25 kids in a classroom, right? And oftentimes teachers feel like they don't have time to address, you know, behaviors or whatever, which is my job. So, taking them and spending that quality time and letting them know now at age 5 or at age 10 or age 13 that you are enough, and you may be a product of your environment, but we can give you some tools to help you, on a level where to cause you to think about, your value. And once they buy into that,
Mhm.
it's success. It may take a while for them to buy into that because of things they may have heard or whatever, but once they
Right.
buy into it, it is awesome.
Your book touches on the power of someone's presence in making others feel valued. Talk to me a little bit about that. What do you mean by somebody's presence making others feel valued?
Yeah, so in the book in the beginning, the little boy, he goes to his mom and she's busy in the kitchen cooking. He wants to talk to her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm busy right now. Go talk to your dad." Dad's worked a 14-hour day, so he's laying on the couch watching TV. He's like, "Oh, I'm trying to rest right now. Go talk." So he feels like he's being shifted, like no one has time for him, you
Mm,
know. So he sits on the back porch, and then his dog ultimately runs up to him, and the dog makes him feel he's important because the dog takes time out for him. And so he begins to reflect on, my goodness, nobody has time for me,
mhm.
and maybe I don't matter. Kids at school don't want to play with me at recess. And
Yeah.
so he's thinking, wow, I thought, throughout the book he says, I thought I was important too.
Mm,
And so presence, whether and I love mentorship. I'm a
mhm.
very strong proponent of mentorship. Spending kids just they don't want a lot. They want our time. They want quality time with us, to know that they matter. Just making them feel like, for that moment, that they are really, really, really important to me at that time. Those 10 minutes that I have with them, or hour that I have, they are the center of my universe at that
Right.
particular time. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then again, building that relationship. So just you being there. A lot of kids at school, they'll request to come and see me. They'll ask their teachers, "Hey, can I go see Mr. Boss?" So just them knowing that I'm here for them, it speaks volumes.
That's wonderful. It's great that you have that impact on children. It's great that they have such a kind and caring person there to speak with and to relate with. Are you hoping this book sparks conversations between parent and child?
Yes, absolutely. I wrote it. It's written from the point of view of the little boy.
Hmm.
Uh, but I'm hoping that parents, and several parents have purchased the book. I'm hoping that the parents will read the book with their kids, and yeah,
Right.
it would spark some discussion, right? Hopefully, it's a safe environment where the child can say, "Hey, mom, hey, dad, I haven't felt like I matter," or so I really want to spark some discussion, and not only with parents and children, but with between adult messages for everyone, right?
Mm.
I have a lot of
Yeah.
adults who have read the book, and they needed to be reminded that that they really do matter, because society, our world is topsy turvy right now. You know what I'm saying? And people
Mm.
tend to lose themselves in whatever jobs or whatever. People tend to lose themselves,
Yeah.
and people have told me that my book is a reminder to them that without the title, without whatever that they're seeking, that they really do matter, and they are important to the world.
Absolutely. Do you feel that this issue of sadness and loneliness and isolation is greater today than in years past? I mean, growing up, I don't remember this being an issue at all. Perhaps it just wasn't discussed and it was swept under the table because kids were to be seen and not heard.
That's
But do you
right.
think it's worse today?
Um, I think I don't know if it's worse or not. I think it's always been, but it could be. But I know
Yeah,
that we have more um, exposure to it, and we've
right,
been educated, right? As a society, we've been educated to read the signs,
right.
right? Because there are a lot of the sadness and the depression is internal. So
Mm.
a kid can be, or I can be smiling on the outside, and I can appear to be, happy
Right.
go lucky and happy, but on the inside, I'm just miserable. So
Mm.
I don't know if it's more, or that we now know how to recognize some signs, but it does
Right.
seem like there's more sadness and depression in the world than there used to be back in the day.
Yeah, and also, there's a lot of isolation today. People are hooked up to screens a lot, and
Yes,
that can be a
yes,
lonely experience.
yes,
You're
yes, yes,
looking at Facebook and everybody else is doing something wonderful and you're not.
yes, yes, yes,
Um, Parents, a lot of kids don't come from intact homes anymore.
yes, that's right.
Grandparents often aren't connected with the grandchildren.
That's
So
right.
there are a lot of issues, I guess, that modern kids have to deal with that perhaps kids growing up when you and I did not have to deal with.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. The world has changed.
Yeah.
The world has changed, and fortunately or unfortunately, like
Yeah.
you said, depending upon your environment or how you were reared.
Yeah.
I fortunately, like I said, the youngest of seven boys,
Hard to be
but I
lonely when you have
wonderful
six siblings.
had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful upbringing. My
Right.
parents made time for each and every one of us,
Wow.
right? They recognized each personality, and we would have family meetings. They would call us in the living room, and they would talk to all the boys, and they would, we had to share our day and how we were feeling, and so we had I think my parents invented restorative practices. I think my parents invented their family counseling because it was just common practice in my home. But
Right.
unfortunately, not every child has that, right?
Exactly.
So that's where my confidence comes from. That's why my ability to encourage others that they matter. It all came from my parents. But my job is to reach those who may not have had that experience, right, and don't know that they matter and don't know that they're important, to help them realize that they really are, no matter what your title or your social status
Right.
is. And like you said, kids are, on social media and they compare themselves to what
Yeah.
they see there. And that's rather unfortunate. And so I spend a lot of my time letting them know that you are enough. You are enough.
And I am important. I'm not going to
And
walk around saying that all day. People will hate me. Why does Logan keep on saying I'm
that's right.
important? We know he's kind of
We,
important in his own little crazy way.
yes, you are important, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I feel better already. Thanks. David L Bost has written a wonderful book. It's called I Am Important. It's a compassionate book. It's an insightful book. It addresses feelings of loneliness and insignificance that children experience, even adults experience. And it highlights the issue and also offers some solutions. It's a great book. Parents should read it to their children. Children should read it with their parents. It'll foster conversations that are very, very important. David, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
My pleasure. Fun talking to you. The students that you counsel are blessed to have you in their lives.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Thank you.
And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on Spotlight.